I want you to visualize a moment. You're in a meeting. Maybe it's a performance review. Maybe it's a sales pitch. The tension is palpable. The other person is talking and they're unhappy. What is happening in your brain right now? If you're like 90% of the business professionals, your brain is in defense mode. You're analyzing their words for weakness. You're formulating your comeback. You're waiting for that last split second of silence, that tiny gap in the audio waveform, so you can jump in and win. We treat conversation like a tennis match. We're just standing at the baseline, racket back, waiting to smack the ball back as hard as we can. That's not listening. That is stalling. That is waiting for your turn to speak. And this brings us to our first pillar of business emotional intelligence: listening to understand. In Western business culture, especially, we are trained to be the smartest person in the room. We think leadership looks like having the answer immediately. We think silence is weakness. But I'm telling you, the most dangerous person in the room is the one who is silent, observing, and actually processing. You have to kill the ego that says, I need to prove I know the answer right now. When someone is speaking, whether it's a customer with a complaint or a partner with a new idea, you need to listen to the intent behind the words. Let's look at a real world example. A client calls you up angry. They're yelling about a 5% increase on their contract. They're saying, this is unacceptable. Your service isn't worth this. I can go to your competitor. If you listen to reply, you're going to argue the value. You're going to pull out a spreadsheet showing inflation prices. You're going to get defensive, and you might win the argument, but you lose the client. But if you listen to understand, you might hear something else. You may ask yourself, what are they actually afraid of? Maybe the client just had their budget slashed by their CFO. Maybe they're terrified of looking incompetent to their boss because costs are spiraling. They aren't mad at you. They're scared of themselves. If you understand that fear, the conversation changes. You stop arguing the price and start solving their problem. You say, I hear that the budget is tight. Let's look at the payment terms. Let's look at how we can help you justify this ROI to your board. Suddenly, you aren't the enemy. You're the ally. If you listen to understand, you build trust instantly. People know when they're being heard. It's a physical sensation. And in business, trust is the currency that matters the most.